To my family and friends, to the press, to those of you that are subscribed on my YouTube channel and the other social media, I want to make a formal apology for the money that I have been burning, shredding, and cutting in my videos. Many of you have commented that you would prefer that I just send the money to you instead. Fine. So today I'm going to make a video and I'm going to actually show you how you can have some of my money. In fact, how do you do real estate deals where there's money for you, there's money for them, there's money for everybody coming your way.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah, it's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
You know, at the end of the day, making money really feels a lot better if you're helping other people make money in the process. That is originally what actually attracted me to the game of real estate. I knew that I wanted to be wealthy, but I was looking for a way to make money by helping people because I understood this one thing: value follows value and money follows value. So if you can find a way to deposit life-changing value on someone, you should be able to make a lot of money for it. It's possible, if you're a subscriber, that you've picked up a free copy of my book, The Straight Path to Real Estate Wealth, which is about this: helping other people through real estate. And we're doing that through something I like to call compassionate financing. The whole idea is that you've got a lot of people that are renting a home that would rather own, and guess what? There's a way for you as an investor to compassionately help these people get exactly what they want. There's more money for them, and frankly, there's more money for you. Literally, it's a win-win-win. Most things in life don't end that happy.
Life sucks, then you die.
I think you're gonna like today's conversation though, because if you, like me, love real estate and you wanna own a lot of real estate, if you're like most people, you're just gonna rent it out. And when you rent it out, you're hoping for a positive, passive residual income. As in, my mortgage is $1,000 a month, I rent it for $1,400 a month, there's $400 left over. And it's like, man, Kris, if I buy 10 homes, $400 extra a month, 10 homes, that's $4,000 extra a month. For some people, that starts replacing or seriously augmenting their income. But you know what? When you become a landlord, that comes with its own tool belt of problems, like the phone calls, fix this isn't working, my Wi-Fi went out. And if you're playing landlord and you don't have that property managed out because you want to make as much money as possible, real estate can become a huge headache. Today, this idea of compassionate financing creates a little bit of a solution because I'm going to show you a way to serve your renters at a much higher level. And in exchange, it's weird, you get more money and you're spending less time actually doing management and maintenance on your properties. Now, when I say compassionate financing, what I really mean is lease option. And I want to help you understand what a lease option is, but truly, compassionate financing is my personal spin on how I go out of my way to help my renters have a superior experience. According to Investopedia, a lease option is an agreement that gives a renter a choice to purchase the rented property during or at the end of the rental period. For that option, the renter is usually charged an upfront fee by the owner, which might be 1% of the home sales price. The lease option is especially helpful to those who might be building their credit or don't have enough saved for a down payment. Now, if that went a little over your head, let me break it down for you. I really want you to understand really what a lease option is. There are 5 components. You see, if I were to buy this Mr. Rogers-sized house and in real life I'm gonna rent it out, a lease option is gonna look a little bit different. You see, the family moving in, they're gonna give me what's called a down payment. In my contracts, I'll use different language for legal reasons, but it basically means, just like a bank, Kris, we want to give you $3,000, $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 up front so that we can secure our right not just to rent, but also have the option to purchase this at a future point. Number 2, monthly payments, right? If I was just renting this property, I might rent it for $1,200 a month, but with the lease option, I can actually rent it for a higher amount of money. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm going to give some of that back to them with what's called a monthly credit. Listen, if I go and get a loan from a bank, every month that I make my payment, some of that goes to pay off that loan. I'm actually getting a credit against the loan. And so I'm mimicking that with my lease option because I want my renters to have an incentive. Make my payments on time, do a good job taking care of the house. And guess what? Some of that money is going to come off of a future purchase price. The 4th part of a lease option is the purchase price. and it has its own separate agreement. In other words, if this tenant is planning on buying it down the road, they want to know or have an idea, what am I actually going to be buying it for? And if you're a smart investor and you follow the advice I give you in this free book, you're going to find that you should have a rental agreement and then a separate option to purchase agreement. And the fifth component of a lease option is the length of lease. You know, this isn't like a 12-month rental. Someone could actually do a lease for 24 months. They could do it for 36 months. And so that's just another part of the negotiation when you're actually structuring a lease option instead of just a rental. Let me give you an example to really help you understand this. Let's say that there is a house that you want to purchase and you're buying this house for $250,000 and you have this choice. Do I want to do a rental or do I want to do a lease option? So take a look at these 5 pieces. When I take a look at my down payment, with a rental, there's no down payment. You're usually paying first and last month's rent and a security deposit. But that money ultimately goes back to them. So guess what? You're not really getting anything new. But on a lease option, you could get a $3,000, $5,000, $7,000, or $10,000 down payment. I find that $5,000 is a pretty good average, and that's what you get up front. Now that's non-refundable. So that's just literally money that you put in your pocket. Number 2, you've got the monthly payment. On a rental like this, I might be renting this for $1,400 a month. Maybe that's the going rate for this size of house. But on a lease option, you're usually getting a couple hundred, maybe $200 or $300 more a month. So let's just say in the situation that I'm actually collecting $1,600 a month, that's an extra $200 a month of cash flow. The third difference is this monthly credit. With the rental, they're not really getting any of this money back. They just have to make their payments on time so they can get their security deposit back, maybe their last month's rent, right? But on a lease option, I think it's important to understand that of the $1,600, every time they make their payment on time, maybe there's $100 each month that goes back to them. There's an incentive for them to eventually buy this house because it's going to discount the purchase price. Number 4, the purchase agreement. You see, with the rental, they're literally not buying the house. So as a result, they don't have really much of an incentive to take care of the place. But on a lease option, they have an intention of purchasing the home. That means they're going to fix it up. They're going to take care of it. There's no property management company involved. And then lastly, when we look at length of lease, with a rental, usually you're doing a 12-month lease. Maybe in a weird situation, it's longer than that, or maybe a renewal. But with a lease option, quite often in most states, that's going to be 2 to 3 years. Now, what's great about that is you're actually locking in a higher cash flow for a longer period of time that adjusts higher, like by 4, 5, 6, 7% every single year. You got the money up front. These people are taking care of it. Over here, you've got to cover all of the expenses. When you start weighing these out, don't be surprised when I actually tell you that a lease option on math typically is about twice as profitable as just doing a rental. All right, Kris, what then are the benefits to the investor? Well, frankly, there are several. Check them out. Well, first of all, you got that $5,000 down payment that we talked about that you don't get with a rental. And then on top of that, you have an extra couple $100s of increased rent. That's literally just money that lines your pocket. I think that's a pretty cool thing that happens for actually helping a family get in a home. But look at this. You also have a sense of ownership, right? Like these individuals, there's $75 to $150 a month that you're not paying a property manager because this family is saying, this is our house. We maybe technically haven't bought it yet, but we've actually signed papers that say that we can buy it. And because we have an intention to buy it, we're all here to take care of this house. And if it needs repairs, if it needs upkeep, we're going to do that. So this whole idea of repairs that can often cost on a typical rental $50 or $100 or $200 a month, that's now gone. There are 3 other major benefits that you get as an investor. Number 1, when you sell the property, you're going to sell it at its market value and only discount it, the money that they use as a down payment or the money that they've earned for making their payments on time. On top of that, you get to improve your debt to income ratio because guess what? When you actually rent out a property, the bank says, if you want to do this again, we're only going to count 70% of the money that you're collecting on the rental agreement. Well, since you're collecting more money with a lease option, that number looks better. Every rental you buy can literally make it harder to qualify for a home. Every lease option can turn that around and actually make you look better on paper to the bank. And lastly, when you actually go to sell a house, guess what you got to do? You got to pay a realtor 6% And 6% of whatever that sales price is probably going to turn into $10, $20, or maybe $30,000. When you sell a home on lease option, you've already found your buyer. That 6% that you'd give a realtor, you no longer have to pay that. And if you start looking at all of these benefits, you might start thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, I'm gonna freaking take advantage of people. I swindled them out of their hard-earned cash. You remember when I called that compassionate financing? Ha, I just got you. All we did was take. No, let's actually look at the other side of the agreement. What is this experience like for like a tenant? There are several benefits that a tenant gets for engaging in this game. For example, check this out. With a lease option, instead of just renting, a family literally goes in and says, guess what? It's less money to get into a lease option on buying a home than going to a bank and trying to buy a home. As in, the last home that I did, given it was a multi-million-dollar home, guess how I purchased it? I purchased it on lease option. Like, this is something that I would do because I understand both sides of the cake that we're trying to evenly divide and create benefit for both people. Number two, you get to build equity with your on-time payments. I love this. This is a huge benefit. A renter is throwing their rent money away. When you go to buy a house, even though it's going to take you 30 years with a 30-year mortgage to purchase it, from the first month that you start making a payment, the bank is going to credit some of that back to you. They pick up that same benefit. Number three, you've got flexibility. As in, like, you know what? We're doing lease option, but we know that I might change jobs in 2 years. I might have to relocate. I might have to move. The reality is, I actually don't know if I want to buy this house. I want to know that I could, but I also want to know that I'm not financially tied to it if I need to bail.
I gotta get out of here.
Number four, you get this cool thing called property control. You don't have a landlord coming and saying, you can't do that, you can't fix this, you can't add that, you can't dig that pit for that trampoline that you want to put in. A lot of people that do lease options want to upgrade the property. They would never feel incentivized to do that if they were just renting it. So they love knowing that there's this option that I can invest in this property and that can come back to me, that can increase the value. I get to take advantage of that. And then lastly, they do get time to fix their credit, or they get time to save money, or they get time to figure out what their future is going to hold. All of those reasons ultimately allow a tenant to say, man, I wish more people were doing lease options instead of just this whole rental, old school gig. Sometimes people even ask me, Kris, is this whole lease option thing even legal? Well, yes, it's legal, and I have people everywhere that are following this strategy and making money. In fact, right now, let's actually go boots on the ground to Morris and Noel. Morris and Noel, listen, I'm glad that I get a chance to connect with you guys. How are you doing?
We're doing great, Kris. We're really excited to connect and just excited about all that's happening.
How many lease options have you done in what period of time?
So we landed our first contract on October 25th.
Okay.
And we have 6 houses under contract and we have 5 tenants.
Got it.
We have one house that we're marketing right now to get them all full, and we got getting others lined up, get others in the pipeline.
Dude, listen, you guys are moving fast. I'm really proud of you. A couple of questions. What are you finding, what are you liking about these? Like, first of all, have you ever had tenants before, like typical rentals or anything like that?
No, never.
Yeah.
So we really were not interested in tenant landlord headaches because for me personally, I would like that. Of course, every woman is interested in the fixer-upper Joanna Gaines.
Right.
But with my husband being a very direct person, I just knew that it was all going to end up on me.
Yes.
So we were like, okay, we're out. But
yes.
How can we do something?
Because I'm thinking, all right, we got to save up 20% for down payments, and then you got all the headaches, and you got this, you got that. I'm like, I'll stick to stock investing or something else. Right,
of course. So what are you guys finding on each house? Like, first of all, what's the typical down payment that you've been focusing on collecting?
Yeah, so our very first house we got $3,000. Second house was $4,700. Third house $3,500. Fourth house $4,300, and then this last one was $8,000.
Okay, so you're probably averaging around $4,000 or $5,000 a house, right?
Yeah.
And I see that $8,000 put a big smile on your face, Morris. Why is that?
Oh, you noticed that, didn't you, Kris?
You know it.
What kind of cash flow are you seeing on these properties?
Looks like we're averaging around $200, $250 a month. We were pretty aggressive with our offers just to really kind of get us going.
Yeah.
we have one homeowner or one landlord has 5 of our 6 houses. And so we really wanted to be aggressive with him up front because we had a great connection right up front. He was our very first appointment and basically told us that every time he gets a house open, he wants to hand it over to us.
Yeah.
And so we felt like, okay, let's get in the game.
Yes.
And then we'll be more aggressive as we go, get better deals.
Smart.
Just recently, we discussed with him about potentially just partnering up on deals.
Yeah.
Once we start doing all of this, we've done with zero money out of pocket.
Yeah.
We literally had posters and a marker.
Yes. Well, you're following the system. I love it. So why do I actually call this compassionate financing and not just what it is, a lease option? That's because my intention is something very different than a lot of investors that are out there. You see, an investor could look at this and say, oh my gosh, Kris, I'm going to collect like the largest down payment I possibly can. I'm going to hope the family defaults in a year, kick them out, and then I'm going to put a new family in. And this is going to be like the most profitable rental I've ever done before. But on the other hand, you've got guys like me that realize, wait, if I actually go out of my way to help this family buy this home, I will actually get to free up all of my profits and then go buy twice as many homes, and I can actually do a build twice as fast. I actually get the greatest financial reward from helping people technically buy the home rather than if they don't. Because I'll be honest, sometimes they don't, sometimes they do. I want them to. So if they say, oh, I'm working on rebuilding my credit. Hey, I got a resource. Are you doing something right now to rebuild your credit? Because you need to talk to this organization. They've done amazing things for some of my clients in the past. Or, oh yeah, well, we just haven't started really the loan process. Dude, get with my bank. Let's actually help you figure out what it will take for you to qualify for this. That right there is the compassionate component, the part that says, I want to help people whenever possible. I want to see it through. And guess what? I actually also make more money. It's kind of cruel that there's this altruistic motive that makes more money so I can do it again and actually help more people. At the end of the day, what we're talking about here is what I call a triple win. You see, you as the investor, you win because you're going to actually make more money and it's going to be easier. The tenant that's actually moving in, they're the homeowners, right? They get a win because they get something that a landlord normally wouldn't give them. And then of course there's a huge community win because now you don't have these transient renters that just move in and out. You have people that are sinking roots that are saying, hey, we're gonna be here for a while and we wanna contribute to this community. So why aren't more investors doing this? Listen up right now. If you have a home and it's a rental, and you haven't clicked the link below to get a copy of this book where I actually show you how to make twice as much money on a lease option versus just being a straight rental, I'm gonna tell you right now, whatever the size of your portfolio is, you should be sending me a big kiss and thank you card through the mail because I'm about to make you a lot more money and at the same time, you get to help a lot more people. But if you're new to the game of real estate and you're like, well, Kris, I wanna buy and hold properties, I want a passive residual income, but I wanna do it smart, let me just tell you, there's reasons why people aren't doing it. More people should be doing this, but the reason why they're not is because number one, they don't know how to market the property. And guess what? I reveal all my marketing strategies here. Number two, they actually don't know how to screen tenants. They're actually just scared to get in the game in the first place. Guess what? I reveal my strategy on exactly how to do that in this book. And then number three, you need specialized contracts. I'm just gonna tell you right now, you shouldn't just go to LegalZoom and say lease option contract, because 99% of all people that do lease options, they're doing it wrong. They're using a single contract. They should be separating it out. And again, if you click the link below, it'll also entitle you to a conversation with my team. They'll show you how you can get all of my legal documents, training, hand-holding, coaching, or whatever, so you can actually do this right out of the gate at its most profitable level. You know, perhaps one of the coolest parts about all this is that you can learn how to buy homes on lease option. I call this limitless deal flow. You see, most investors are using credit and money to buy homes, but eventually we run out of money and then we have to wait or hunt some down and figure out OPM, other people's money. Check this out. Remove all the financial and credit constraints by learning how to buy homes on lease option as well. It's not just for the tenant. Did you know that there are some tired, angry landlords out there that never wanted to landlord on that house that they still own, and yet they rent it because they feel like it's their only option? Did you know that there's a whole system I've developed here where you can call these people and say, hey, how would you like me to take over management? How would you like me to make sure you get the money that you need, give me a 5 or 10-year lease. I'll manage this. I'll get your money collected every single month. All of a sudden, you can actually pick up a massive portfolio of homes without even buying through the banks. In fact, in many cases, it's possible to buy these homes with no money down whatsoever. So in that link below, I'm not just teaching you here a process for how to serve tenants as not just renters, but helping them become homeowners. I'm also serving the investors. I'm teaching them how to be smarter investors and how they can get access to limitless deal flow. Today, I've talked about one of the most important fundamentals to becoming a very successful real estate investor. And at the end of the video, I said, did you know that you could actually use lease options to get into real estate with as little as no money down whatsoever? This next video that I shot, it's actually spending nothing to make millions. The secret to getting rich in real estate for free. I'm gonna show one of my other favorite techniques that I use for how you can actually partner with me and do deals as a zero cash partner. Check it out. I'm just gonna show you how I can give it to you